as the problem will escalate. I just don't really get it. But the same government is using force on IPOB, the ESN, who are just trying to guide their people, protect their people from the people who are killing them, which the government are unable to protect. You know, the agenda is very clear. You can still live in La La Land and say there is no agenda. It's just normal thing. It's because it's Buhari or it's because Buhari is a Muslim. Mind you, Buhari is not the first Fulani man that has governed Nigeria since 1999. It's not the first Muslim that has governed Nigeria since 1999. And Yar'Adua was a Muslim. Yar'Adua, fortunately, from the same state as Buhari. Why wasn't all this thing during Yar'Adua? Why? Buhari so much believe in Islamization agenda of the Sokoto Caliphate, of the Zia Ahmadu Bello, or to use Master Danfodio Jihad. So much believe in that. He has made so many comments around that in the past while he was in the government. Buhari went to Ibadan to meet Lamade Shino. That why are your people killing my people? Buhari doesn't believe in Nigeria. That's what many of you don't know. Buhari doesn't believe in Nigeria. Buhari has always shown that he's a Fulani man. He has always shown that. We saw how he went on the head the last time when they asked him why he's making a train to Njenje. He said because my cousins are there. That's just the reason. Not tell us the economic importance or advantage of that trade. Just say my cousins are there. Buhari has always been a self-preserved man for the Fulani, and you cannot take that away from him. Buhari is not a pro-Nigeria. He doesn't believe in Nigeria. Many of you still don't get this. Buhari doesn't believe in that. The Isala elders, they were in Aso Rock recently. They are probably the one controlling Nigeria right now. Perhaps Sheikh Gumi is also part of that set, and they have an agenda to conquer the South. And this is why you see when you come up with 21st century solution to the cattle grazing, and they tell you that they want that 1956 solution, which was not even a Nigerian thing, it was a northern thing. The grazing route, which wasn't a Nigeria issue. It was Nigeria has not even got independent when they started doing that. And while there was ranching in the southwest and other part of the south, they embraced that open grazing and cattle route, Then fast forward 2021, why people are saying embrace cattle ranching. No, they went up ahead and brought that Ahmadu Bello cattle route stuff.
Not the kind of not some ladies are irritated.
Who is this one? Mute yourself. And they went back to bring that 1956 northern region cattle something and say this is what they want in the 21st century. It's not that this people doesn't know the solution to the problem in Nigeria. They know, but they know that once the South is comfortable, South is going to be the development in the South is going to be at the speed of light, and they just want our development to be as slow as the step of a snail, and that's what they want. Because if you bring about say let's have a restructuring, they will tell you no. Why said there's not going to be restructuring even when it's in the APC agenda, APC manifesto. So it's just that when we say these guys are the one drawing us back from development, you all think it's just hatred. It's not hatred. There are facts and figures around. There are a lot of things that have been done that people still overlook and say, oh, it's normal. Now like this, it go normal. All of us go reach 60 years. Nigeria go see the way it did. When I was young, Nigeria go better. The country keep getting worse. Each time we change leaders, the situation gets worse. Please, when I was in the primary school, I can still spend the coin, the 5 kobo, 10 kobo. But right now, we cannot even get something of 10 naira anymore. The country is getting worse. The economy is getting worse. And why? Because some people believe that if everybody is in poverty, then they will not be able to think out the solution to their problem. And when those in diaspora are saying, no, this is not the way to go, we see life over here, and that should be something template we should be saying, no, Nigeria is different. Nigerians doesn't aspire to develop, or what is it that we want to just keep ourselves in this perpetual bondage and say we are one Nigeria, big, strong, and reliable, like Union Bank or the First Bank. See, the point is that there's not been any nexus between large population and development. All this one will now they say Nigeria is the hope of black race. There's nothing like that. France is about 67 million people, and look at their GDP today, over $38,000 US dollars per capita, and 200 million Nigerians are still over $2,000 US per capita. I say it's our population is an advantage. How is it an advantage? It's a cost. That's why the country need to be balkanized into small business and let everybody mind their business. Let everybody mind their business, because we just cannot keep going this way. It's only a madman that will keep doing the same thing every time and expect a different result. We just have to do things differently to have a different result. Thank you very much.
May I speak? Right, Mods.
More talk now.
Mods, make I just talk then. Since nobody.
Yeah, and I think Don, if you wanted to say something, just go ahead then.
Yeah. This Melafia thing, I really be happy if people stop quoting Melafia and Autumn. Those two guys, I can understand, yes, we're having issues, with the whole polity, but I don't do conspiracy theories. You understand? Conspiracy theories, we should leave that one for storybook. In real life, there are consequences for making certain political statements. And apart from the consequences, there are also, most of these guys understand, they make statements, deliberate statements. So what is deliberate statement? And then if you review statements that Melafia has made in the past, they've come out false. So I don't see why anybody will be quoting those guys. It's unfair to the rest of us. So they may have said certain things which some of it may have happened, some of it may happen. But if you actually follow the sequence of what they've said, you can find out that what he said is completely hogwash. West, we want to correct the country. You understand? Some people, the truth is that once you believe that a solution is a hammer, everything becomes a nail. So the people who believe that restructuring is the solution to it, every single thing they mention, they must put restructuring in it. If they believe it's balkanization, every single thing, every single solution they come up with, every single premise they come up with will always tilt towards their bias. It's normal human stuff, but that's not the solution. What is happening is people are just bringing out populism. So what is popular now? Restructuring is popular. Forgetting that, the theft in Nigeria is not a regional thing, it's not a federal thing, it's not a tribal thing. The theft is everybody is a thief. Most people in the country are thieves, and that's why we are ruled by thieves. Because by proxy, some of the people who are part of the population will get into government. It is normal stuff. So if you want to change the guys in government, you have to change the way they get into government. And how do you change the way they get into government? By the way you vote and by the way you act. So somebody does something wrong, you ignore it. So, and then, this one that I was thinking, okay, I mentioned that Gumi should be ignored. I didn't mean ignore per se, just look the other way. But find out why he's making those statements. And just, we should actually try and go beyond. Why is Gumi making these statements? What does he stand to benefit? And who stands to benefit from him? None of those things have been mentioned in the whole discussions that we've been having. Because that is what will lead you to stopping the problem. You said that he was escorted by soldiers into the bush. Who gave him the soldiers? And why is it so important for Gumi, of all people, to go into the bush, to go and negotiate with people and give them a voice? Why is it so important for him to go there? Those are questions that you can answer If you can answer them, you can actually solve your problem. So our problem is insecurity. I really don't care if he goes into the bush and gets shot, or if he stays there and dies. Nobody cares about that because he's not going to stop. If you shoot Gumi today, the boundary is not going to stop. If you jail him today, the boundary is not going to stop. And then let us go beyond, okay, he made a statement that, like I said it again and I'll repeat it again. He made a statement that most of us find disgusting. What law did he break? Let the lawyer tell us what law he broke. So that at least you can say, okay, look, somebody broke this law. Why is he walking around free? Not just saying he made a statement that nobody likes. Why is he going around free? And why is Igboho in prison? And why is Nnamdi Kanu in prison? Those statements are the kind of statements that just make it difficult for you to prosecute anybody because everybody looks at it as if it's a sentimental statement. What law did he break? He made a statement, you read the statement, and he said that if they prescribe the thing, if they prescribe a particular group, it is going to incentivize would-be jihadis to join the militia. The militia that people are talking about, it's not one militia, it is a ragtag group, gang of bandits or terrorists or whatever that are going around. So even if you shoot one person, you understand, there are another 200 individuals that are completely unlinked. So even if you catch one today, he's not going to give you information about the other ones because he doesn't even know how to operate. So they're completely different. Even if you read, if you go online, and if you doubt me, you can go on and check it. Even the independents that actually pointed us to the group as a terrorist group, the so-called disjointed group, had no knowledge of why they do what they do. We just know that they have a monetary incentive to do what they are doing. So if you want to actually catch these people, you have to actually find out. You know your enemy, that's the rule. Bring your enemies closer, that's the rule. What do we know about them? Apart from the fact that they're a horrible group of people, vandals, and they kill people, kidnap you for money, and then release you or not release you and shoot you. That is it. And then they're very brazen in their attacks. For example, they attack military installations, which most people would avoid. So if we're going to go for people like that, you need to know about them. We do not know about them. And a lot of what I'm hearing is conspiracy. I'm blaming people for saying, well, they should jail him for making a statement. I like, if he made a statement that you don't like, what law did he break? Because it's the legal aspect that's going to get him in prison. So what legal, and then if there's no legal, if you feel that the law is, what the statement he made is so egregious and it's not the legal loophole that's making sure that he is free, close the loophole. It's that simple. Write to your reps and everything because it's not the president that's going to be able to close that loophole because everybody's going to blame the president and presidency for everything. It is guys in the Senate that have the powers to change the laws that will make sure somebody like Gumi goes to prison. And since all of us want him to go to prison, instead of us coming here and every time he says he makes a statement, we'll now start jumping and insulting ourselves. We make sure that people like that do not have a voice. Because Gumi is, and people say he has a very big following. He doesn't have a big following. In fact, most people didn't know about him until he started making controversial statements because he didn't exist in the power structure of both Islamically, the usual conventional Islamic guys, and including the radicals. What he was doing, he's popular because his father was popular and his father established precedents before him. And he uses these statements, if you have actually checked his history, to get popular. That is it. Most Muslims do not like him and do not follow him, do not even go to the mosque. He went to Kaduna and was trying to lead in the central mosque and he was kicked out physically. So it's not a case of he has power, he doesn't have a power structure. These statements, it's the media that is pushing a narrative and pushing him in front. And some people, political bigwigs, are using him to fulfill certain things. So find out what the political bigwigs have to achieve, find out what laws he broke so that we can get him out of our hairs and then we can stop annoying everybody. And then, to find out how we can help the government to get these terrorists out, either by protesting or whatever, so that they get more serious with it. And then the people in the reports that they are sponsoring terrorism, that the intelligence services in the United Arab Emirates have helped us to get, let the government bring them to book and let us know who they are. So at least for public good, all these conspiracies will stop. Thank you.
Can I quickly say something, please?
Before that, I need Didon, you're going to help us with something quickly. Just a minute.
Please, give me 1 minute. Please.
I want to ask Didon to help us clarify something. something you said about Obed Melafia. I want to know what the things he said that were not correct, because you spoke about a lot of things that were not in line that he said. Okay, you need, because I know everything he said, and I have it down. You need to clarify the house on that. And then he also spoke about the fact that Gumi didn't break any law. You know,
I didn't tell you he didn't break any law. I said I don't know, but what law did he break? Nobody has mentioned it.
Okay. Okay, fine. For somebody who came out to say that, number one, Gumi has been consistent in his narrative. He came out on a national press briefing to say that the bandits have done nothing wrong, that all they have done is they want to live the same way you and I are living in Nigeria, that everything they've done, including killing and taking money from people, is just because they have been marginalized and that they want to live their life, that nobody should threaten them or do anything to them, that in fact they should be integrated into the Nigerian system. These are part of what Gumi has said. This last one that Gumi said, and I want to clarify so that everyone can hear, what Gumi said is that if the bandits are listed as terrorists, that Nigeria will cease to exist. These are his words. If this is not a criminal against the Nigerian state, I don't know what it is. But particularly, I'd like you to clarify what was wrong with the statements that Obed Melafia made that we should not associate.
Let me give you one.
Okay, please. Sorry, they don't. Please, I want to add to it so that you answer all of them at once. Please, based on what you said, so that you answer all of them at once, please. Don't be offended. You know, you said we should be looking for solutions, and if people feel it's wrong based on what Gumi is doing, that they should write maybe National Assembly or whatever to get government pushed to have him either arrested or what. So I want to know, please, among the people so far whom the government have swooped in on by the DSS, through the DSS, like the Malafia guy, the Kuka, the Mbaka, the man who supported NSAS, that's Sam Adeyemi. I want to know how many times we all wrote to the National Assembly before it was done. Please, you can answer that. You.
Okay, I'll answer your two questions. First of all, Malafia made such statements that some Fulani guys came to meet him. You understand? Let me just get this right. You understand? He's not a police officer. He's not an elected member of anything. Some Fulani guys came from God knows where to come and meet him in his house or wherever to tell him that they were planning to do whatever in the country. I'm not like, what are the chances of, first of all, the Fulani guys that people have, that, you know, our soldiers have been chasing up and down, and people, vigilante and everybody have been chasing up and down, and we do not know what they are going to do or when they are going to go and destroy something, will now get up, you know, escape all the possible people they could have told, all the imams and the rest they could have told, and the rest in their community, and went to Kaduna or Abuja to go and meet Melafia to tell him that they were going to go and commit a crime. I mean, does it make any sense? Then DSS invited him to stuff, and he said, okay, you know, this guy told you you're going to commit a crime. How did you contact them? A simple question. Or how did they contact you? Because, I mean, that is usually the how that will determine whether it is plausible or not. And the guy faltered. So, I mean, I really don't get, but people keep quoting the guy as if what he said was true. So how did they call you on the phone, you know, to say, okay, this is what we're going to do, you know, hello, we are the dumbest villains on earth, we are going to come and bomb so and so place, so that we give you time to prepare. Or, you know, we came to your house, are you related to us? Are you a security officer? Are you an elected member of something? Did you conduct an investigation that they came from wherever it is that they came from to come and meet you, to come and ask you questions? None of that, you understand? But for some reason, people keep quoting the freaking guy, which is kind of annoying. After it has been, you know, even newspaper articles have come out. your problem is to become rich. How do you get that? Then you start thinking along those lines and become rich. So if we want to get out of this, to wahala of always complaining about the next guy, because 2023 is around the corner. And from what we can see now, it'd be like saying Tinubu or Atiku. And the two of them, nobody wants any of them. So we need to find this way of outsmarting these people, for God's sake. So if it's a case that we want them to go after Gumi, and again, I mentioned it again, what law did Gumi break? So it is easy for somebody who is a lawyer to say, okay, look, somebody might be in the audience who is listening to us and say, okay, look, I know how to write a petition. And believe you me, if you think that petitions do not work in Nigeria, they do. Petition worked against Kemi Adeosun. He was kicked out as Minister of Finance. So to say that petitions are what they do. So even if we do not know the law, somebody here, instead of whilst we are talking, because I checked online, I couldn't find out any law he has broken that we can use to incarcerate him. And he was invited by DSS, mind you, and he was released. I don't know why he was released. So if he was invited by DSS, he went in there and then he couldn't find anything on him. If somebody's complaining that he wasn't invited.
He denied he wasn't.
No, he was invited. No,
he wasn't. If you have any video evidence or anything,
they don't.
Just he was.
Maybe I'm coming. They don't. Gumi said he wasn't invited. And then on what you said on Obed Melafia, that was completely even off context. Obed didn't say that. I still have all the record. This is somebody I do a link
if you want.
No, I know. I mean, I was there with him, so it's not a question. Let me state something here. Do you know that Gumi is even a validation for everything that Obed Melafia said? Gumi is the validation for what Obed said. There is nothing Obed Melafia said that Gumi has not validated 100 times. And this is the point we're making. That somebody who was a captain in the Nigerian army and left, his younger brother is reading PhD now in the strategic study here in the Nigerian army. He has everything. This is the man we're talking about, who says that the bandits have done nothing wrong. There are scores of, where do you want to start? And then he said that if they proscribe the bandits as terrorists, that Nigeria will cease to exist. It's like the question that the military were asking the NSAS during the 1-year anniversary. The military said that the NSAS that there's no allegation against the military. So I asked that you came to my house to kill me, and then you are asking me, you that came to kill me, you are asking me that I did not write any allegation against you. Are we even listening to ourselves to see the narrative of our conversations?
Dr. Mo, 1 second, your papa, 1 second, Olami, 1 second, please, 1 second. Don, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so let's say there's a gang of armed robbers somewhere near Dubai in Ibadan. And I am constantly seeing in videos and pictures with these armed robbers. And then I take their demands to the state governor, to Sheikh Makinde, and I tell him, why are you going after these armed robbers? Yes, they are stealing and killing people, but all they want is to be given jobs and given good homes. How would you classify me?
What do you mean, how would I classify you?
How would you classify? I mean, does anyone else understand the question?
Not only that.
No,
you
1
also
second.
told the
I have
governor.
not asked about bandits. I just gave you a scenario.
It was an
Dr. Mo, did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
Repeat it again.
Okay, can somebody else repeat it? Maybe it's because I am saying it. Maybe someone else.
See what he meant. He said somewhere around Ibadan, he happened to know that a particular set of people have been stealing, breaking into people's houses and killing them, wasting life. Then when Makinde, him maybe writes petition to a Makinde. Okay, let's say Makinde, the governor, wants to sweep in on them. He now writes, say, why are you now going after these people? All they wanted was a good life, just like every other person. To have good job, have good house, maybe the killing will not happen again. That's the instance. And he's now saying, what can you draw out of him who is suggesting that to the governor of the state?
He's a mediator, no?
Okay, and,
not only that, man, you also told the governor that if you kill these people and if you call them thieves, that your state will cease to exist. Let's be very clear on this.
Don, please answer that as well before I finish.
Okay, so yeah, fine. So I don't see you people look, remove your emotions from all this thing, because obviously, usually what happens is
there is
when I make
nothing
it
like emotion. And emotion, fine. Nation is falling down. You say,
These people and you guys, they know they ever do everything fair.
okay.
Now, wow.
You're okay, fine. Let me finish what I'm saying. Thank you. So basically, you are saying that okay, because the thing is, you have to understand that if you want him to go to prison, he must have broken a law. He says, okay, look, Nigeria will disintegrate if you guys declare them terrorists, right? He said, so okay. I'm asking you, what law did he break, which nobody has been able to answer?
Okay, no problem. Let me now finish my submission. One second. Allow me one second. Let me finish my submission.
Sorry, sir. It makes us wonder what crime this Nnamdi Kanu or whoever has committed, because they too have been saying Nigeria will break, Nigeria will do this. The same thing Gumi has been saying. Come on, please now.
No. Let me finish this submission. So I've just removed the word because sometimes when we speak and when we discuss ideas or we discuss opinions, it's actually useful to sometimes use an analogy, an example that removes maybe the word bandits and where they come from and the name Gumi. Maybe it makes some people become defensive. So that's why they can't answer the question. So I just asked the question. I turned it around in a different way to see the response. And I'm sure everyone here heard what Don said. Now, the next thing in your submission, you said we should go and find out why Gumi was giving the bandits a voice. What is the motivation? No, please mute your mics. Don't laugh. This is not, because we were just told that we are emotional. So please, let's not be emotional. Okay. So I'll start again. Why did Gumi go to give bandits a voice? What is the motivation? What law did Gumi break? Okay. So let's start from the beginning. Why did Gumi go to give bandits a voice? I think it is established principle in any part of the world that if you give a criminal gang a voice, you are part of the joint enterprise of that criminal gang. Now, there used to be an organization called Al-Qaeda, which wanted to interpret, use Wahhabism, to interpret how a specific religion should be practiced around the world. And they wanted to create an Islamic Caliphate. Okay? So I think we can all agree to that. Now, this same Al-Qaeda had people spread around different parts of the world, in America, in UK, Europe, who were acting as spokesmen for this organization. Now, do you know what those governments in those countries did to those people? Can anyone tell me what they did, please? Anyone?
Mr. Iman, tell us what they did, and let's
they mopped them all.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. So, number one, if Gumi did this, which we've seen the audio recordings, we've seen the videos, the pictures. For even doing that repeatedly, he is actually challenging the authority of the state. And he's saying to the state, I can do whatever I want. I can fraternize with criminals, with terrorists. In fact, they're not criminals, they are terrorists. These bandits are terrorists. So what he's saying in essence is that I singularly will protect these people. And that is his mission in life. Now, why that is his mission, I don't know, but I don't even care to know. I don't need to know his motivation. Don said, know your enemy before you go and attack them. I don't need to know a murderer before I go and capture that murderer, put them behind bars, or make sure they face the firing squad. I don't need to know your motivation for why you did it. That is not of interest to me while you are killing innocent people, men, women, and children, slitting their throats, taking fetuses out of people's bellies, pregnant women's bellies. These are the crimes these bastards, these evil, conniving terrorists are committing. And then there's a man called Gumi who thinks that we should sit on the same table with this individual and speak to him. If that be the case, why are you not sitting on the table speaking to Nnamdi Kanu then? I mean, again, what crime let me spin this around. What crime did he commit as well? Which crime the guy commits? The next one, they are brazen in their attacks. Of course we know. Because we've seen the pictures of the dead people they hacked to death that they killed using AK-47s. So we know how bad they are. But it sounds as though you want us to understand their motivation. You want us to sit down with them and understand how they were marginalized. The government didn't build schools for them. The government didn't build clinics. They didn't build a library for them. They didn't build an airport inside the forest for them to be able to take off and go and land in Germany and do some shopping in Harrods in the UK and come back to Nigeria and land back in that forest. You're right. The government should go and build infrastructure for these bandits. You are right. That is the reason why they're doing what they're doing. Because Nigeria marginalized them. I mean, Don, listen to what you're saying. And this is not emotion talking. This is just saying, Gumi is breaking laws. We don't need to point it out to you. It is obvious what this man is doing. And he should be given the same treatment these bandits gave to their victims. He should be either killed, taken into custody, put on trial, or put in prison for the rest of his life in solitary confinement with those same bandits. There should be 6 of them in the same room with one bed inside that room. And the only food they should be given is gari plus a little bit of cement powder. I yield the mic.
I could say something, please.
Go ahead.
Dr. Mo, can I go? Okay, thank you very much. You see, when some of us on this clubhouse say we don't want to have any conversation with some of these guys from the north, they think we are just unnecessarily being hateful. We are not, because we know how they try to always play around with words just to defend some of this criminality going on in Nigeria. Somebody came here and asked, what law did Gumi break? Somebody that is verbally threatening the sovereignty of Nigeria. If bandits are proscribed with terrorists, Nigeria will cease to exist, or a state will cease to exist. And we have just said that he has not committed any law or anything against the law, or we should just go and get a lawyer to interpret that statement. Well, there are lawyers in the house. Maybe they will be able to interpret such a barbaric statement from Gumi. And this is not the first time. Now, the question is, when before Kanu was arrested, Kanu was literally going from state to state to protest and to sensitize Igbos on Biafra. He went all the states in the southeast and south and Lagos. Then the military swooped in and they went to arrest him and kill his people. The rest is history right now. So what law did Kanu break at that point? Don't let us forget that as of the time Kanu was arrested and all this thing was happening, there was killing going on in Benue, in Agatu, for instance. Agatu, that period in 2017 or so, was almost every day they kill people in Agatu. If it's not 20, 30, 40, 200 sometimes, And it was all around the same time that a guy called Garus Gololo, who happens to be the secretary of Bieti Allah Katu Ore, HORA, was also claimed responsibility for the killing of the Catholic bishop. Today, Garus Gololo is still working freely. The likes of Bodejo, who is the Bieti Allah secretary right now, or maybe chairman, is also still working freely with all the statements they have made in the past on this issue, trying to just play down the crisis going on in the middle belt. You see, the issue right now is that we are just here, like, the people that were killed in Igboho's house. What crime did they commit? What law did they break? The question is, what law did they break? And the blind man that was just praying in that house, that was shot, what did he do? They came around and said, "Oh, those people faced them with nobody faced them." That woman that was just released recently, said nobody even tried to do anything with it. They were just asking, who are you, until they so I don't know. The way some of these guys from the northeast and northwest always try to spin things around, and the next thing you hear, "Oh yeah, you are hateful, you hate Islam, you hate this one, you are being emotional." When they know the fact, they will always put everything under being emotional or being hateful. But you can't hear them say the truth about something. Now, the Niger Delta guys, when, because Gumi have said, "Oh, the way Niger Delta guys were given amnesty, these guys deserve to be given amnesty." The Niger Delta guys, when they were before Yar'Adua settled their case, where they did not go to anywhere to kill anybody. The only thing, they were kidnapping the guys who were working on the oil rig, and those guys, they didn't kill any one of them. They finally will release them. But the ones the Gumi and his boys are defending here is, they are not just kidnapping, they're also killing people. But no, they say it's not a crime. If you are comparing what the Niger Delta guys did or what they were doing there, the Niger Delta have a good ground to even make sure that nobody nobody take any drop of oil out of Niger Delta. Because if you have been to the Niger Delta, you will see the people's farm, people's water, all polluted. A lot of health issue. In recent research, the rate of cancer in Niger Delta now is very high, because people now, taking a lot of lead poison and the likes. But nobody is talking about some of the issues that were being raised by the Niger Delta guys then. Their farmland polluted, their water polluted. But what exactly is this bandits? What are they fighting for? That Gumi became their spokesman. The man, Olawumi, the air commander that came to speak on Zia Rice News, that was saying, yes, this and that, which is almost similar to what Obed Malefa was saying. Under 24 hours, it was picked up. Obed Malefa too, under 24 hours after he made that statement, he was also arrested. But yeah, we are. What law do those people also commit for them to have made statement and let's say what they have done? But yeah, we have a man from the north saying that, "Oh, what law did Gumi commit for saying that if the bandits are proscribed a terrorist organization, Nigeria will cease to exist?" So the point is that there is a lot of things going on under this government, that people always think that every one of us should just be foolish and just overlook it and say, "Nothing, we cannot connect the dots." We need to start connecting these dots, because if you are using force against the IPOB guys for doing nothing, then you are saying that, "Oh, a Gumi who is going to forest has not committed," and you see those IPOB as terrorists already for not doing anything. You proscribe them a terrorist organization when they have not even checkmark 0.11% of whatever criteria for any group to be proscribed a terrorist organization. Then you are saying that these guys should not be proscribed, or they should just, the guy who is saying they should not be proscribed has not committed any crime. I'm just like, are we even living in the same country? Are we even from the same country at all? Do we have the same thought process at all? For anyone to just think that Gumi has not committed any crime, and and we have seen a case where people from the south have been arrested, or people who are Christians have been arrested, and they are not even for not even making a small statement as what Gumi have been doing. None of them have gone to. No, right now there is not even politician that is associating with or publicly with the IPOB. But we have Gumi, who is publicly associating with terrorist organization, and people are saying no, he is not committing any crime. He's guilty by association. That's the point. He's guilty, and for even making a statement that threatened the sovereignty of Nigeria, he's also guilty for that, because he has made some other statement in the past that, he's, I don't know how we want to say that, but just sometimes we need to know the type of people that we listen to on this platform, and you think that we are always against them, we are just being hateful. No, we are not. We have listened to them on several occasions, and we know that their thought process is very different from our thought process from those of us from the south. Thank you very much.
Please, I want to, Mr. Governor, please, I want to speak. You see, I understand the fact that that Mr. Gumi and some other persons, have to be checkmated, and I understand the fact that they have to be treated the way, like the rightful way. You're getting my point. But it is quite unfortunate that Dr. Mo is no longer in the room. You see, in as much as I respected, and I still respect, even after his demise, the late doctor, that's Dr. Badaya Milafia. You see, he made fallacious statements. We can't feign ignorance of the statements he made. At a point, it was called in for.
You cannot connect.
Please,
don't say
please,
you cannot connect.
I didn't interject you. Keep quiet. I didn't interject you, please. So the fact is, he made incendiary statements, and we should not feign ignorance of those statements he made. And Bishop Kuka, the Archbishop of Sokoto Diocese, is also culpable for the same recklessness. And while someone was speaking, I guess it was the same Olami that referred to what they've been doing to Autumn of Benue State. Come on, the same Autumn of Benue State came to us in live, publicly said he was attacked by Fulani men, that he had to run for dear life. After the full investigation into the incident, it was later discovered that it wasn't Fulani men that actually went after the governor. You see, people, our political elite, to an extent, they are even part of the reasons why we are where we are now. And for anybody to come here and actually exculpate some persons that are, equally guilty of the situation of things, of why things are what they are now, coming here to exculpate them is like an insult to us. But I will not talk about the dead, like out of respect. Let us just leave it at that. It is quite unfortunate that Dr. Mo left the room. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, please, can I talk?
Yeah, I'll go after you, Sama.
Okay, so now when we talk about this issue, number one, if we live in a sane country, Gumi will not be walking around recklessly defending a group that I consider and that a lot of Nigerians consider as a terrorist group. Now, when we look at this issue, and people are saying, I'm even looking at the reasons why some people from the core north or from the northwest will even support Gumi's position. We've seen the carnage carried out by these so-called bandits in so many parts of the northwest. They go to villages, they sack villages, they kill people, they push people into IDP camp. I've never seen Gumi going around canvassing for victims of bandits and nomadic Fulani terrorism. Many of these people, they are settled Fulanis in the cities, their houses in the cities, they've been killed, they've been driven away from their land. I've never seen Gumi talking about them. I've never seen Gumi talking about the victims of banditry and terrorism in Kaduna, in southern Kaduna, in north central part of the country. But all the utterances we'll be hearing from Gumi is the ways in which we should, rehabilitate them, forgive them. These things are very, very insensitive. Imagine Gumi went to Gaga, he went to Oyo State, and he was saying all kind of rubbish. Now, we cannot say because we want a country, or we cannot say because we want to develop Nigeria, we want a Nigeria that work, you understand me, to, absolve people of irresponsibility. And that is why I will keep criticizing this government on the issue of insecurity. From day one, the government of Buhari has taken it has taken a narrative, a sentimental narrative to this issue. Just imagine, and you know what I tell people, I say, you put yourself in the shoes of other. Imagine if all these things that are happening, is coming from the southern part of the country. So imagine if today a Yoruba group start kidnapping people all over the country. They move to the north, move to every part of the country. And when I have one Yoruba coming out, going to the north to tell them that they should learn how to live together with the same Yorubas who are committing this crime, how do you think our northern brothers will feel? So when we have this conversation, we should be very, very, we should be very, very critical about this conversation. In my conversation, I've not said all the northern people are responsible for the atrocities of bandits. And people should desist from the fact to say, oh, these crimes are not being committed by bandits. Majority of the crimes are being committed by bandits. And these bandits, in their majority, they are Fulani nomads. So, you understand me? So for Gumi to come out and to be telling the rest of us that we should accommodate, that they should give amnesty to bandits and terrorists, it's unforgiving. And I'm telling you today, but if this government failed to act on this issue, we'll have another government, and because this man will not be there forever, another government will come in and another government will treat this issue. So now when we talk about issues of insecurity, I look at everything from a logical point of view. You understand me? I'm not going to use this because some people, they are using this thing as an agenda to push a wider narrative of people coming to enslave us. It is not like that. We have a problem of insecurity caused by Fulani nomads because of some social problem. And we have a government who have failed in its responsibility to protect the right of every citizen, irrespective of their ethnicity or religious affiliation. It has nothing to do with northern agenda. It has nothing to do with some northern people wanting to take over the rest of the country. Because if you look at these incidents, you look at this crisis, yes, they've carried out a lot of heinous, acts in the north central part of the country, but also in the northwestern part of the country. These areas, homes to Hausas and the so-called Hausa Fulanis, they've killed a lot of people. And for Gumi to come out, I don't know on what basis is even defending these people. Is it defending these people on the basis of northern narrative? Because most of their victims are northerners. Most of their victims are Muslims in the northwestern and in the northwestern part of the country. So on what basis is it coming out to defend them? Thank you.
Okay, can I also say something? Samuel, you wanted to talk, but please let me say something before you talk. So, Wasil, thank you very much. Like in recent times, I've not heard someone sound, I agree with everything you said 100%. Because it just makes me, like anytime I see Gumi's posts, so I'm like wondering, so what about the people that have been killed? What are you saying? You're saying that bandits are also human beings. The people that have been killed, are they not human beings? Don't they deserve the right to live? Like, what is their crime? So for me, I'm saying that those of us on this group, or those of us that come to always have intellectual discourses, let us stop attaching so much sentiment to some of these discourses, because what is wrong is wrong. Gumi can be my elder brother, but he is doing something wrong. So it doesn't matter where somebody is of the same religious affiliation, or we speak the same language, or we don't speak the same language. What is wrong, and it affects all humanity. So please, yes, Gumi is doing something wrong. Kuka back in the days also used to make reckless statements. That is true. But the point now is we are talking about what Gumi is doing now, because he's inciting more violence. How can you be defending criminals? It is wrong. Nowhere in the book is it written that you can defend criminals. Bandits are killing people. They are terrorists. They are terrorizing people. They have taken over several villages in the north. We know that. It is wrong. So if you, on what basis will you now stand and defend Gumi? He's doing something wrong. Yes, he may be, a sheikh. He preaches, but no, what he's doing right now is not correct. So let's stop attaching sentiments to defending these people. Let's just try as much as possible to be very critical and leave sentiments out of it.
Okay. May I go? The Don.
Go ahead, Go ahead.
Okay, so first of all, just in case it was some of the statements are referring to me, you understand, is to the guy who said, he doesn't want to speak with, this is why he doesn't like speaking with people from the north. And the truth is that they don't like, he's your left room anyways, your papa. Nobody's asking you for your opinion. So almost like you think that you're that important that if you don't speak to people that they will die. Nobody cares. So the truth is simply this. What I was trying to say is a lot of us have been going, which is what we do a lot in Nigeria, you understand? And we've been going on and on about our problems without actually seeing ways to effect the problem. So, and then this thing about, because I don't agree with your stuff, that means I agree with the bad guys. Doesn't make any sense. Nobody's making any excuse for Gumi. I'm not. I don't support him. I never have. I don't like the guy. He's extremist. And I don't even like sectarian religion. If you're going to be religious, be religious. You don't have to be part of a group to actually be religious. You can be Christian, you can be Muslim. I don't do Catholic, Protestant, or Izala, whatever else. You get. What I was speaking to was simply that Gumi is free, and most people will agree that they do not want him to be free. So how do we get him into prison is what I was saying. So I said, look, I'm not a legal expert. I'm not even a legal anything. You understand? But what law they did Gumi break? So it's easy for us to say, okay, look, if all of us in this group now decide, okay, look, we are tired of Gumi talking and we want him off the streets. How do we get him off the streets? So a legal mind can come and tell us, okay, look, this statement that he made under subsection, this subsection, that in the Constitution, he can be prosecuted. Then I was okay, look, this is what he said. Why is it that the Attorney General has not prosecuted Gumi for breaking those laws? As simple as that. That is the normal, logical way to go to it. That's why I said remove your emotions and your anger. And every time you talk about somebody in the north, about something in the north, somebody always brings up, but they took Igboho, they took this thing. Because that is sectarian thinking. To think of the solution to your current problem and forget about whatever injustices that happen somewhere else. At least make sure that in this case, justice prevails. For you, justice is getting him off the street and put him in behind bars. How do we do that as a country? Remove what is, if he was an Igbo guy, he would have been off the street by now. If he was from Tarimundu Bay, he would have been. That does not solve any problem. Because he's still getting airtime and it's becoming more and more powerful. You understand? Gumi before could not get 500 people to sit down and listen to his sermons. Right now, he's getting thousands. And that is because he's getting airtime. So people are seeing him as powerful. Politicians are using him. The bandits are now using him as a spokesperson. Whilst they are going about doing their nefarious activities. So, I mean, you've seen the pictures of when he was escorted into the bush and when he was sitting down with bandits. He was there with people with military regalia, which means that for some reason somebody in government with power gave him an escort to go into the bush. Because even if he retired as a captain, he does not get an orderly. So meaning he doesn't have any right to go and call any soldier to follow him into the bush to do anything. So even if he took it upon himself to say, okay, he was going to be a mediator between him and the government, under our legal structure, is it a crime? If it is not a crime and you want it to be a crime, how would you go about it? Instead of coming out to insult me, because all they just hear, like the guy that left just now, who left the room just now, all he could hear was a northerner is talking, so everything else he's saying is black it out. How is that your solution to your problem? Am I in government? I'm not even in the country. But look at it from a thinking perspective. These guys have committed crime. This guy seems like he's supporting them. Is there any legal way we can get him out of the limelight? And we do that. It's simple stuff. Don't start complicating your issue. The conspiracy theory. If we try that, they will shoot our tools and everything. Have you even tried it? Because if you don't know, there's a group called Serap, you understand? And they've been winning legal cases consistently in Nigeria, whilst everybody else is afraid of getting shot. How are they doing it? People sue government every day in this country and they get compensation for it. A lady was beaten by soldiers recently. She got compensation for it. Police officer slapped somebody. He sued, got compensation. So I don't get this whole country that everybody talking about that doesn't seem to function. It seems to function when you go to court. Let's be mindful of what we say and try as much as possible to not, because somebody is supposedly from the north, that means whatever he says must be biased without actually listening to what I'm saying. So pay attention to what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is, if you have a problem, solve it. And the solution to this problem is getting him off the street and stop giving him airtime. So when I say that, they should ignore him, because if the newspapers did not feel that he was headline worthy, they would not have printed what he said. Because they know that if they print anything about Gumi, same way we get a lot of traffic in Clubhouse when Gumi is the headline, they will print it and then they will hope for the best, because normally most people want to buy the newspaper, read it, and then they get traffic. So if you stop giving them traffic, like you ignore it completely, first of all, newspapers will stop printing it. So one medium is gone. Then if we find a way of making sure that he has no political currency, have you not killed him already? It becomes incognito. And then you can move on with your lives. So he cannot even mediate for you, because the bandits do not see him as anything. He's not a political tool for them. So they move on with him, and then you can now, the security forces can focus on the bandits without politics. Hopefully that clarifies whatever anybody else was thinking. So stop thinking, okay, he's from the north, so he must be supporting people. I'm not supporting the guy. Thank you.
Ruth, let me respond to that, please. Let me respond to what he just said.
Sorry, let me just make a point to what the Don said. Where he said about the newspaper and the media houses, right? I feel like the media is also culpable, because they know exactly what Gumi's statements do. They know that they incite a lot of emotions, and they keep giving him airtime and printing out his news, whatever. So it's a whole syndicate. Everybody can be found culpable in all these things that are going on.
Yeah, just a quick one. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm actually on transit. So the issue here is not. Yes, the issue here is not Gumi is from the north, Sunday Igboho or Nnamdi Kanu is from the southeast or from the southwest. No, the issue here is that the government has shown itself as being very biased. Getting Gumi off the street will not give anybody justice.
Thank you.
You understand? Gumi, the thing is not to get Gumi off the street. We're not trying to get justice by getting Gumi out of the street. The reality is that if these kind of statements that were being made by Gumi were made by someone from another part of the country, this government that is so soft on bandits would have been so swift to react. So we are just pointing out the issues that have bedeviling this country, that the presidency of Muhammadu Buhari has increased. This presidency has given those who are calling for balkanization, yes, there has been injustice in this country. But now more than ever, we're looking at this as the injustice in this country, through a crystal ball. This is what the government of President Muhammadu Buhari has done. This is the reason why people are complaining. Look at what happened to the late deputy governor of the CBN, the one that died at Gogolada Hospital. Look at what has happened to even Bishop Asan Kuka. So no one from another part of the country can say what Gumi is saying and will be left alone. That is the problem. That is the point we're trying to make. The injustice that has been fueled by the President Muhammadu Buhari's government. So getting Gumi out of Gumi is not even the reason for this discussion, really. What we are talking about is the injustice of President Muhammadu Buhari, that is a sympathizer of Boko Haram, that's a sympathizer of terrorists. He sympathizes with them. He said it in 2001 that his intention, that he is committed to having this ideology spread across this country. That is what we are saying. He said it when Jonathan declared Boko Haram a terrorist organization, that a war against Boko Haram is a war against the North. So this is the man that is today the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So how can we as a nation defeat Boko Haram? How can we as a nation defeat bandits? When this man became president, he terminated the contract with executive outcomes. And these executive outcomes, in the space of a few months, they regained almost all the territories in Borno and in the northeast. This man came into power. The first thing he did, the first executive action he took, was to terminate the contract of the executive outcome, the South African mercenary group, headed by Eben Balo. So what are we saying? You know, we can never get this malady as far as President Buhari remains the president of this country. That is why we can't even wait for 2023. If there's any legal way to get rid of him, he has to leave this country. Having that man for the next 1 year, 6 months, or that man for the next 1.5 years will destroy this country completely. You know, I wish that I would wake up tomorrow and he's no more. Because no one will become president of this country, apart from this terrorist sympathizer, that will take this country to the place this man has taken this country. So that is our problem. You know, that is the point we're trying to make. Gumi is not our problem.
Thank you,
okay.
Leo.
Okay, please, sorry. I wanted to add something to what this guy has said. Hello. Sorry, I want to add something to what Don has said. Sorry, I want to add something to what Don. Hello.
Okay,
sorry.
fine. Okay, fine.
Yeah, I want to add something to what Don has said. The Don, please. When we mention, when people come up with mentioning of names or reminders of what has been, like as we were discussing this, some people, including myself, said, what about when it was Igboho? What about when it was Nnamdi Kanu? What about when it was Kuka? What about when it was this person? Remember, those people must not always be right or wrong before we remember that there was a way they were treated by the same government. That's where the adage came from. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, if I may remember. Same thing boils down to as small as of family unit. If you as a father have 3 children and one commits a crime, you flog them. Second one, you flog them. Third one, you ignore that person. The other ones will find their voice, no matter how big or how superior you looked at them, even as a parent. They will ask you, Daddy, when I did this thing, you flogged me. How come you're not flogging this one? Now, even if they didn't do anything to like correct what's been done wrong by you as a parent, at least they found their voice and they've seen it like you are a bit partial. And to the end of this, you will never forget that as a parent. That's what we're doing here. Don't see it as wrong when they say about our multi-ethnic nation. You can't treat one person better than another. You can't ignore one person like more than another. Treat all of us as one, and you will never see anybody get up and agitate for whatever situation. All of us will fight against it. That's a multi-ethnic nation. I yield.
Thank you
Sorry,
very
Dad,
much.
before you go ahead, can I say something? So
All right,
on a lighter note now, since all of us are tired of bad governance, you people should join me. Let us make Kingsley Moghalu the president come 2023. Nope.
No, I beg you, not what you want now. I beg.
All right, one house.
I say
one house.
Which kind of politics?
One house, please. One house, please. One house.
Where did you come from?
I'm here, man. Everybody needs calm. Everybody needs calm. No, Mr. Mute your mic. Mute your mic.
Mute your mic and wait.
See. At this point, everybody will mute mic. Even Mr. Mute mic, mute your mic. No, Mr. Mute mic, you are going to mute your mic right now.
If nobody is muting mic, I seek for revolution straight away.
Thank you.
Samuel, I wanna wait a bit. Why would you like this? I've spent almost 6 hours listening to you guys. I want to say
everybody mute your mic. Don't spoil everything.
Don't worry.
Make all of us make Osigwe talk, but I could respond to Madam Ruthie 100%.
Make I run, no, I beg.
Please don't. No. Don't go anywhere. Stay where you are.
You must be here.
Today is today. Osigwe, I have muted my mic.
No, Mr. Mute your mic, please. I give you that honor to talk. I'll talk after you. My brother.
No, Osigwe. I yield the mic to you.
Mr. Osigwe, talk now.
Osigwe,
Master,
I yield
talk
the mic.
Iman, what? Okay, Governor, they call. Oh, you don't, you're here, right? Let me talk about, you, my brother. You know, one of the reasons why we even take Clubhouse, when I pardon me if I divest, I want to like speak too much English. One of the reasons why we take Clubhouse, they're able to talk about Gumi at all, and because of the irresponsible, idiotic guy we will get as president, he'll be Buhari. Being they arrest people, if people in sort out, may come arrest you. Anybody where they need to know their Buhari number, he tell us, one guy cat for Clubhouse in sort out. The coward, the president of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, the coward. Because that man don't even understand what we went through, the sacrifice we paid in 2015, the things we did in the back China. That guy is an ingrate to Nigeria. He don't deserve to remain as a president. It's the worst that I've ever seen. And I beat myself any time I remember about Buhari because it's a total disgrace. And any Muslim who come on Clubhouse in any way to defend Gumi or even the Buhari himself, that guy should check he's a man. I don't think that person is a true Muslim. Because these guys are not speaking like leaders, they are not speaking like Muslims. Because if in Islam, the death of an innocent soul, just one soul, is more like you have killed the entire world. The people like Gumi, I don't know what even the Senate are doing. If the president cannot react, I expect the Senate to react. I expect some governors in the north to speak. I expect some leaders in the north to speak. But one thing, the painful part is that when people want to talk about Gumi, they're
Osigwe, your network.
Osigwe, I would enjoy this thing. Continue now.
the bandits. He's among the bandits. And even the president, for keeping mute over the years about bandits, is responsible for every life that we have lost as Nigerians. They are both responsible. Anyone that wants to support what Gumi has said, whichever way, that person is evil. Evil. And if I see you one-on-one, if you talk that country in my front, may I not talk with you, I will do you. But I know, say, man, at the end of the day, maybe I feel cripple you. You can bitterly angry. People are dying every day.
We don't threaten violence on this platform. I just wanted to
calm down. You might mute your mic.
Violence here.
You might mute your mic. I know they threaten.
You are threatening.
I know they threaten person. I'm not threatening a personal person. I'm threatening everybody.
I be straight Buhari supporter. You did threaten me.
Iman, if you be straight Buhari, I go tell your papa say I be idiot.
Hi. Jesus.
Tell that man say he's a coward. Tell that man say he has failed Nigeria.
Off your mic.
Tell that man that he has failed Nigeria.
Off your mic, cat.
Who they talk there?
Off your mic.
Kenny.
Off your mic. Yes.
Kenny, mute your mic. Kenny, mute your mic, man. No.
You don't
No.
Don't jump first.
Hold on. Calm down.
Everything.
Let me say one word. For those who are listening, I'm responsible for anything I said, not international politics. Not anybody here. I'm responsible for that.
You can't be that.
So,
you can't use such
can you mute your mic? Can you mute your mic first? Can you mute your mic?
I go mute am, but I beg, would they listen?
Can you mute your mic now? The more you interrupt me, the more you trigger my anger. So they do. I'm not deaf. I'm not dumb. I understand the system very well. I've been part of the system since 1999. I've always stand for what is right, even if to my Dan family, I came out from a political room. A cycle of politics was built within my family, kingmaker when it comes to politics. It is time for us to have leaders who understand the pains of ordinary Nigerians. It is time for us to understand the value of true leadership. It is time for us to drop our tradition, our religion, and our tribe to understand that we are fighting for a common goal. And if we can achieve this, the tribe, the religion, the tradition will be protected. But as long we continue to allow some few individuals, irrespective of their zone, they come together as one at night, come in daytime like enemies, just to deceive us, and will buy into their ideas, just because we are Christians or Muslims, or because we are from Yoruba or East or wherever. We need to stop that. It is time to talk to ourselves and ask ourselves a deep question. What do we really want? What do you want? What do I want? How can I achieve what I want? How can I help you to achieve what you want? How can we come together to make sure that everybody is safe? We need to ask ourselves deep questions. The system is so bad that every level of leadership has been hijacked. From the local government system to the state to the federal has been hijacked by this cabal, these enemies. We have them in our local government system, we have them in our state, we have them in our federal. But we should understand that every leader actually comes from a local government. Every leader actually came from a ward. They are representing people. So if the HURIWAs are not talking about the statement that Gumi has made, I think it should trigger one signal. They don't care about other people. They know what they are doing. They are responsible for certain things. You know, go kill my brother, tell me to make I no cry. You know, go shoot my friend, to make I look if I get gone. There are certain things that we need to understand. But please, between now and 2023, anybody where they support Buhari, where they clubbers and I get the same room with them, now me and I go quarrel. I'm ready for my quarrel.
Thank you very much for that wonderful submission, Osigwe. I really appreciate the fact that you abused me because I told you I was an ardent Buhari supporter. I don't know if you want to take
No,
this
he abused your father.
apologize
Your
to
father,
me.
he abused the Buhari.
Yes. Osigwe, would you like to apologize to me?
Amen. You know that you are my brother from another mother. I will never insult you. Dan, they want to think about your going down. And they talk, when you say they support Buhari, that means you don't take Buhari as a papa now. So now Buhari has been insult, not be you.
Wow. I hope everyone heard what just happened. Because when I report this matter to the police, in fact, I'm on the phone call to them now. Make everyone
forget. The police in Nigeria.
I'm a witness. I follow into the station. I'm a witness.
I beg you to report to him and wait. When you say police, now AIG you want to go there because now only AIG I mean that it is called for civil.
No talk too much. AIG there. No talk too much. Just talk the case. I will carry on.
Make I send the number to you.
But card, wait, oh.
That much, wait. Ruth, wait. That much. I don't know if this last month when they call us children.
No be me.
No, nothing concern me. Now you they call us children.
No be me.
Where?
Be me.
So now you they call us more people.
Which time?
Say these children.
For where?
So you go come back. Or contest again. I dare wait. You go see what I'll give you.
No, my own Desmond Elliot. No, be Desmond Elliot, be this so.
Well, I look alike.
No, we don't look alike at all. I will say we look alike.
Wait, not be Desmond Elliot.
No,
my brother. Okay, not be.
Not be my beg. But Osigwe, you said we want to end bad governance, right? Come 2023. So, but you're not telling me, I'm telling you people, we want to end bad governance. So you guys join me, let's make King's
on your mic,
all of you
your mic. That place where they
Rude. Kenny, just leave the route. May I tell you something? You know, if the king, where they back for back, they cross river, you don't know whether the river deep. So the matter where you want to start showing, you know go fit defend down. So no start time.
And
defend down. Lucy.
We go end up.
Osigwe, yield. Lucy, let me tell you something for nothing. I can even bet money on this. Kingsley Moghalu, they have all these nice, beautiful qualifications. But here's the problem. He's not the kind of man who has a political structure, number one.
The gods.
He does not know how to play the Nigerian style of politics. Two, he does not command the respect of the godfathers of Nigerian politics. He doesn't, unless they decide, oh, we want to pick him to represent our interests. That's the only way he's going to get in. Not because you or any other person decides, oh, Kingsley Moghalu is the most experienced out of them and all this stuff. You know, potatoes, apples, and oranges. Look, the people who deal with Nigerian politics, let me tell you now, they are brutal, they are violent, they are people who machinate in the middle of the night. You really think Kingsley Moghalu is like those people? He does not have their character traits. And while that is a selling point, that is not how we elect or select presidential candidates for any political party. But come 2023, I shall be rooting for Sheyi Makinde, the governor, esteemed, venerable.
No, but he has even indicated interest.
Now, because he is the talker, I make it go here.
So if that is the case, Iman, if that is the case, Iman, that means you are telling us that we are doomed as a people. We do not have a future. So it's
Iman, go and join Nollywood. I think.
I said it in passing.
One mic.
What did you want to say?
One mic.
No, I said you
one
did
mic.
very good.
Abdulwasiu.
Sorry, actor.
Osigwe, please yield to Abdulwasiu, I beg of you.
Yeah, I will do that. But please, I want to make a I beg. Meanwhile, one person they talk. Make 3 people know they talk at the same time. No, they speak. Abdulwasiu.
I just want to say, Iman would be a very good actor. The way he acts, the way he speaks, voice, would be a very good actor.
I saw someone just come up on stage. Ali, do you want to say something?
Yes, I really want to say something. And
please, can you use the mic?
Wait now. Okay, so I saw the topic, and from what I saw, the Buhari to arrest Gumi, then as a bandit leader, as a terrorist. You see the whole thing about it. Are you guys with me?
Yeah, continue.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Okay, so the thing is, you see, there is this sheer, I don't even know the word to use, but there is this kind of, what will I say, sheer hypocrisy. Let me just use the word hypocrisy. Because, it's just something that has to do with the whole North. Because each and every person that, any Northerner will tell you that prior to, let's say, from 2011, or let's say from the time Jonathan was in power, those 6 years that he had been in power, each and every day, in the 5 daily prayers now, like these malams and these sheikhs, all these imams will curse Jonathan, including the minister, Pantami. He cursed Jonathan in each and every Friday prayer, cause PDP, pray all kind of, there's this special prayer that we call Al-Qunut. Like after every prayer, they do Al-Qunut for the listener, for Jonathan and for the government and all that, just because for one single reason is that Northerners are being killed. And that the whole narrative out there is that, okay, Jonathan is trying to wipe out, let's say, the entire Northern population, Northern Muslims and all that. But if you look at, but since 2015 to date, if you compare the number of people that were killed in this particular era from 2015 to date, this Buhari era, 3 times or even more than, what would I say, it's much more than the number of people that were killed in the north during Jonathan. Because in a week in Sokoto alone, they killed 150. In Katsina, they will kill more. In Kaduna, like different parts of this north, from the north central to the northwest, bandits going all over in Sokoto, taking over communities and saying that farmers has to pay them like dues or levies for them to go to farm. Or when the crops are ripe, they'll say, okay, you cannot harvest these crops unless you give us 6 million naira. It's happening in Northwest, in Sokoto State, it's happening in Zamfara, it's happening in Katsina, and it's still happening in Niger State. But for the simple fact that Buhari, let's say a Northerner and a Muslim is in power, everyone in the North is just comfortable as far as it's our man in power now. So, see, let me tell you one thing, right? Even if these bandits are going to wipe out the whole, like, or let's say half of the people in the Northwest, as far as Buhari is in power, nobody's going to blink or wait to say anything. So whoever is saying that for your dream now, if you ever think that this government is going to go to Gumi's house with handcuffs and drag him out, you're just having, how do children call this kind of dream? Like there's a dream that children normally do. You're just dreaming. It will not happen. Thank you so much, Joshua. It will never happen. You just be waiting, because if you look at as Gumi now, no matter what he's going to say, he's among people used to forget that who his father was. And secondly, apart from his father, he's a member of the Supreme Council of Nigerian Affairs. He's a member of the Jamaat al-Nasr al-Islam. He's a member of any elite Islamic body that you know in Nigeria. Gumi is part of it. So the government will not even try to say that. But what I'm saying in all this, right? If South
Ali's network.
We can't hear Ali. No, guys, let me tell you. He's making a very valid point. Let me tell you what happened. The Nigerian government just hacked his phone. They listened. I told you guys earlier, the intelligence services in Nigeria, DSS, all of them, they're listening to this conversation. They just informed MTN that they should cut his line off. That's what happened. If it doesn't come back in 10 seconds, if it doesn't come back in 10 seconds,
Ali, you are back. Ali, please go ahead.
Iman, no, FBI informers. She should inform them.
He will come back. He will come back.
Ali, can you continue, please?
Okay, now.
Ali, please continue.
Okay, so maybe while we're waiting for Ali, let's allow the others who just came. Okay, Ali, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. So in all this, what I'm trying to just put at a point in.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? What did I tell you? Okay, now.
This is the problem. You see, this is one of the northerners that I've ever listened to that is actually speaking the truth.
Yeah, that is very yes.
Exactly.
There are many people. You see, as in his level of objectivity is so phenomenal.
And there are always these behind their religion. And I just want to ask a question, please. I don't know.
Ali
is back. The Afghanistan.
Oh, okay. Just hold on.
Okay,
Okay.
Ali is back. Ali,
Yeah.
please
So
continue.
okay. So for this. So for this particular reason, I feel if the country is going to be structured, it will be much more better, because you cannot have this now. You cannot have a situation whereby we have two different governments, two different ideologies, two different how would I even put it, system of governance under one particular roof. I think it's not going to work, and it will never work. Because for an average Northerner, if you ask him, he sees, look at now, he sees a case of Afghanistan now and a case of this, let's say Iraq and all that. If you take all the major cities that we have in Afghanistan now, there is the same place, though there is the same mosque or place named in Kanu. Ask anybody, if you go to Kanu, if you the most popular mosques that we have in Kanu, we have Kandahar. If you go to Afghanistan, that is what there's Kandahar is there. And all these things just happened between 2001 to 2021. Because before we don't have those kind of names and we don't have those kind of places. So there are people that think or that aspire for Northern Nigeria to become exactly the way Afghanistan is being run now. So for that simple fact, and you have somebody maybe down in Niger State or someone in Lagos or in Cross River that wants to see Port Harcourt turn to what? Turn to Africa's Washington, DC. And there is someone down in Sokoto that wants to see Sokoto or Kano turn to Kabul, whereby everybody is carrying AK-47. How would that work? Like, as in, it will never work, because you have two different set of people, two different ideologies, two different role models, as in two different systems or model, whereby they cannot coexist in the same place. So it just, I think it's a high time that we have a conversation around either restructuring the country or just dividing, everyone going his own way, so that each and every region will progress in a way they feel is good or is best for them. Because if you continue like this now, the North will be continuing to be dragging the South down, and the South will continue to wait for the North to say that, okay, let's carry on. Let me give an example now. For someone that is for a child that is in Imo State now, if he has to get into the federal government colleges that we have, he has to score at least something like 80 marks for him to get admitted. For a child somewhere in Zamfara or in Tarabana, all he needs is just 8 marks. 0.8 to like even less than 10 marks, you'll be able to get admitted. So how do you pull those two children together on the same roof and say that, okay, they're going to take the same exams? And this one is already known that as far as when his parents know that if he scores 8 marks based on quota system, you'll be admitted into the federal government college. While this one in Imo, his mother that is struggling, she has to make sure that he scores at least 80 marks before he can be admitted into that same Unity Federal College. So the whole quota system and all that is making Northerners so lazy, because they feel at the end of the day, even if I didn't read for it, even if I didn't go to school, definitely someone based on quota system, I'll get to that particular point. So I don't feel these things are really the way they are supposed to be. And if we don't restructure this particular country, we are going nowhere. Like, write it down that Ali told you that we are not moving, we are not going anywhere, because the whole the platform and the foundation that was laid to never work. It's like if you make progress like 20% forward, then another person will come and drag you back to 0 points or minus 25% backward. And that's exactly what's happening, because if you look at Obasanjo came with his model of he structured the markets, the civil service, the banking sector, on everything. He didn't do anything about defense. Quite all right. Yar'Adua came. He came with his own nine-point agenda, which they are structurally good. Then he died. Jonathan came. So at a point whereby you see that whenever you have seen that we have already made progress. Then Buhari came now and destroyed all what the structure that Obasanjo did, the structure that Yar'Adua did, and the structure that Jonathan put in place. He just destroyed everything using either nepotism or just felt like, okay, let me just do it that way. And whoever is thinking that this particular government is going to like arm all the army, the police, and everything to protect people is really joking. Do you know why? Because if you look at Buhari belonged to the class of African leaders of the 80s. And those African leaders of the 80s still have that issue of mentality of someone is going to topple me from what? From the seat of power. Well, there was a time the president, yes, there was a time the president was in Kano 2014. I was in the same room with him in 2014. Then there are so many statements that he made that you actually know that he has the thing in him that okay, he's going to structure the police, he's going to structure the army when he comes in and all that. But unfortunately, when he came in, he now saw there was a coup in Mali. The coup in Mali was carried out by people that the government sponsored them by soldiers. The meeting that happened in Mali, those soldiers were sent to the US. They were trained by the Navy SEALs and all that, and they came back to Mali, and they just spent less than a month, and they did what? They carried out a coup. Simply because the government sent them to the US and they went and trained, and when they came back, they were given new weapons. So the same thing that happened in Burkina Faso, the same thing that happened in apart from Burkina Faso, the same thing that happened in Guinea. If you look at now, the person that toppled the government in power in Guinea is the same person that was trained in France, and he was at a point in time part of the French forces. He was trained. When he came back, the other this Alpha Conde, the other president, tried his best to make sure that he equipped the army. But at the end of the day, it was the same army that turned around and what. And all the same soldiers that were trained by Egyptian soldiers and Turkish soldiers and some of the Saudi Arabian forces, they are the same people that toppled this government of transition, the Hamdok, the person from the UN. So at this point in time, someone like Buhari will never try to say that they will do all the media propaganda, come and say that for regime security. Huh?
Ali, the mafias are still alive.
Yes, so for regime security now, the president and all his there is no how he will say that he's going to equip any police, any army, anything that for them to have what effective security. Because you feel like if those guys are equipped with all the necessary weapons that they're supposed to use to maintain law and order in the country, the next thing will be what they were going for his seat. And all the people that organized for Buhari, most of them are alive. The Suki is there, Babangida is there. It's just few of them that died. So for regime security, we should just be looking at towards
sorry,
he's still alive. So
sorry, okay. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, Wasi, go ahead.
Yeah. The question is this,
yes.
As you said, from 1999, there was a rise in...
Abdulwasu, can you just speak up a little bit?
Speak into your mic.
Yeah, hello. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay, as you said, that from 1999, there was a rise in Wahhabis ideology. I call it extreme Wahhabis ideology in the country.
From 2001.
And initially it was as a result of, it was a result of opposition to Obasanjo, who was termed a Christian at that time, because I was in the northern part of the country then. And it was also as a result of the of northern people, especially extreme northern Muslims. They see the crackdown on the 9/11 terrorists as an attack on Muslims. Now, there's a reason why I'm coming to this thing. My belief is this: I was born in the north. I still have a lot of friends there. My belief is this extreme tendency, this extreme section of society, they are not the majority, but they are just the minority. Yes.
They control whoever is in power now, all the power brokers when it comes to religion.
So Buhari
they subscribe to that ideology.
Yes, Buhari has given them a platform. You understand me? Buhari has given them a platform, you understand, in order to get cheap support from the northern masses. So that's why you see, like what happened in Kano some times ago, where I've forgotten the name of this Malam in Kano that was, disgraced publicly by some extreme, scholar. You understand me? So what my thought is this, because I'm just going back to some of the things you made earlier. My thing is this: there are so many Northerners like yourself, many liberal Northerners who want, the North to be to change, and the majority of the Northern masses, they are either ignorant of most of all this thing going on, or they cannot really come out to talk. As you've said, because this outspoken minority, they can easily label you to be infidel, they can easily label you to be blasphemous, they can easily label you to be anything. So people are very, very, people cannot come out to, talk. I can remember there was a time in 2008, we're having this conversation in Mina. I don't know if you know Federal University of Technology very well.
Yeah, FUT. Yeah.
Yes. So something happened. MSS. I was in MSS then. Something happened, and they put a poster out. Sorry, it was 2000 and yeah. They put a poster out to say condemn all other religion. I was shocked. I said, how can you call? I said it. I said, how can you call Christians infidel? How would you feel if somebody make a poster and start calling Muslims infidel? You understand me? You can see at that time, people will come out publicly. They will come out publicly. They'll be pushing narratives. They'll be saying what Boko Haram is doing is right. You understand? So what I'm saying is, a lot of the people, even in MSS, a lot of the people don't really subscribe to that ideology, but they cannot really talk. You understand me? Because if you say any small thing, they will just label you that you before you are not even a good Muslim now. You understand me? I'm looking at it from a control environment. It is a school. Now imagine the general population. Imagine, as you said in Kano, where people can easily come out with any ideology. If you condemn them or if you go to them to disagree with them, they can just label you to be anything. We've seen it. We've seen it with liberal Muslims in the core north. We've seen it with atheists, humanists in the core north. Now, in conclusion, what I'm just trying to say is this: there's a problem, and I'll be saying this thing, and I'll be having this conversation with my friend. We cannot allow the most extreme members of society to win. We cannot allow these people to win. Buhari is not going to be there forever. He's not going. People who wants to push this ideology of turning whatever part of the country into stone age, we cannot allow them to win. Us keeping quiet, saying that, you understand me? Yeah, I believe in restructuring totally. As a matter of fact, I even want Yoruba to have their homeland. But in the meantime, we cannot allow extremists to win, whether they are from the north or they are from the south. So we cannot just sit down and allow these people to continue this narrative, because the way it's going now, is becoming really, really problematic. And that's why you can still link everything down to what is going on in the north central part of the country. I don't know if you understand me. If you go to places like Plateau, even in Niger State, if not for the fact that the Nupes are majority Muslim, we'll be having the same problem in Niger State. So these people, they are a minority.
Yeah, I believe you said that they're the minority. Yeah, but the thing you have to look at is that they are the ones that are in control of the narratives. Because if you look at, I was arguing with somebody that why is it that Saudi Arabia, whenever they are giving scholarship to all from 80s now, if you take the scholarship that Saudi Arabia has been given from 1980s to, let's say, 2000 and around 2020, Saudi Arabia will never give you scholarship to go to Saudi and study engineering, maybe anything that has to do with sciences. The only people that Saudi Arabia will sponsor is those people that go and study ideologies. You never see an engineer that was trained in Saudi. You never see an architect that was trained in Saudi. All they train is what is just clerics that will come and push and continue propagating that particular ideology. And if you look at it's just this particular ideology, if you look at from 2001 up to 2020 now, in almost every household you go in northern Nigeria, you're going to see the poster of what Osama bin Laden, like with all kind of propaganda that is just happening around. So the thing is that though the people that have extremist ideologies, they are not much, but they are the people that control what they are the people that control all the religious, let's say, institutions. They're the ones that control the media houses, and they're the ones that control the politicians. Because because a politician only wants somebody that can be able to bring voters to him, and that person that can bring voters is that man. Is that person with what? With the extreme religious this ideology. So that's just my submission.
Let me ask you this. So what is in it for them when they allow people die? Because sincerely, from statistics, since Boko Haram started, it is the Muslims that have been mostly killed. And even with this Buhari era, the most of the people that have been killed have been the Muslims. So what is in it for these extremists that people are dying on a daily basis and they don't have compassion? Yeah. They don't care at all.
Okay.
Why?
Okay, all right. So you see, the thing is that with the ideology, it just has to do with this one with the sect, like the Saudi Wahhabi and Salafist this ideology. Is like if you don't subscribe to that particular ideology, even if you're a Muslim, it doesn't matter. You're just good to what? You're good to go. You should just be killed. So that's why now Shekau and his people will now, they don't care. They'll go and attack the Muslim community, and that's all. So if you don't subscribe to the ideology, whether you're a Muslim, whether you're a Christian, it's just a blanket statement for everyone. Because, and even before they come, like if you look at Northern Nigeria has been peaceful from 90s, let's say from 80s down. So it's only around 80s when they started coming and started setting up their mosque and all kind of mosque and all that. So that's where that particular ideology does start. Because if you look at Northern Nigeria before, it's just the Sufi ideology where by the way it is practiced in Morocco and some other areas. So
Senegal.
It is Senegal and all that. So it was it's less violent and it's more compassionate. And if you look at you hardly hear crises around Senegal, like sect crisis, and you hardly hear crisis in Morocco that has to do with religious ideology and all that. And if you look at with the population, why Nigeria became a target population for all the religious ideologies, especially the Islamic aspect, is because of what? It's because of the young population. Yeah, because if you look at now in northern Nigeria, the young population, people are just there. So, like, if you look at it now, the population is just there. So everybody wants to have. If you're able to have the control of Nigeria, you're able to have what? If your ideology is quite perfect in Nigeria, you can be able to control the whole, let's say, West Africa. Because if you look at a state like Kano, almost linked with most of what West African cities through the trans-Saharan trade and highways that we have. So that is why if you look at it now, the Saudi government will try all they can to push their ideology. Then if you look at the Iranian government also will try all they can to make sure they push their ideology so that they can be able to have a control of the majority of the youth that are in West Africa. So I yield. Thank you.
So sorry, okay. Yeah. Hello, am I audible, please?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Okay, now there is also, as you said earlier, there's also a political angle towards all this thing. Initially, as you said, during the Jonathan era, you see it was so convenient for them to push the narrative. They know then that the problem, was a religious problem with Boko Haram. Boko Haram, where, is an extreme religious group who they are just Wahhabist. They want to go back to fundamental Islam. But it was so convenient, as you said, for northern politicians to push that narrative that Jonathan is responsible for Boko Haram. They will even tell you that Jonathan is Boko Haram. So now, why it's problematic is this. Why we're having this conversation here is this. Why we're having this conversation here is this. The thing is, a lot of people in the northern part of the country, they fall victim. We sit down. I sit down like last week. We're sitting down. We sit down and have this conversation. But the problem is when you don't have people in government, as you said, who are sympathetic towards extreme views, extreme ideology. You understand me? That is where the problem lies. And that is why most of the time when we talk about restructuring Nigeria. We are talking about restructuring Nigeria so that many of these politicians, they will not have initiative. There won't be any initiative for them to support extreme views. Because now, if I'm a governor in Zamfara, if there's a problem in Zamfara, I will not be able to get money to run the affairs of the state. So, but because we have a feeding bottle system where all the state depends on the crude oil in Niger Delta and the revenue from Lagos, they don't really care because they know at the end of the month, they will get money from the federation account. And they also know that the only thing they need to do, as you said, is to push populist, issues. And the truth is that that's just the truth. The truth is that the northern masses, they love religion. Whether whether it is genuine love for religion, they just love religion. So if you come to tell them things that they like to hear, just tell them that, oh, my government, if you vote for me, I will make sure that I implement Sharia fully. By saying that, a lot of people will vote for you. And the masses listening to this religious leader, as you said, they will just go through these religious leaders and they'll be able to get whatever vote that they want. But just imagine a scenario where they have to work. You understand me? Where they have to work for their money. I don't think they will be pushing or supporting or promoting most of these extreme views or extreme individual.
What you said is true. Yeah, the thing is that there is so much free money that is there, like free money. Let me give you a very good example. Like most of the states that we have in the north are very, but just because so much free money is coming down to most of the states, then like at the end of whenever it's 20th of the month, the commissioners of finance will now gather in Abuja and they just distribute the normal money. They get a lot by at most 24th, and everybody gets its own salary. That's all. But the thing is that most of the states are viable. It's just that because of this free money that they don't want, that the governors don't want to be creative, or deliberately they'll be like, okay, let's continue eating their resources now since it's a natural resource without anything. Like Zamfara State now, they mine a lot of gold, like almost 10 billion naira in a month. They never remitted to the center. They only remit that gold to the center. Like it was just recently that the CBN governor was like, okay, so since these guys are mining gold as Zamfara State, now CBN normally used to buy, I think from last year, they used to buy 7 billion naira gold every month and keep it at the Federal Reserve. So there will be a time maybe Nigeria would need that because the gold never depreciates, it continues appreciating. So it's just like Kanu that has, Kanu now has about, I think, 17 dams that they built as far back as 1960s, 80s, and 70s. But all these dams are not functional, just because free money is coming, let's say, from the center at the end of every month. So no need to revive these dams to work so that they can be able to if these dams can work at full capacity, you won't see any Kano youth in Lagos shining shoes and this thing pushing Merua all over. So that's just it. So it's just that they're lazy. But I think structuring will really go a very long way in reviving most of those areas, because if the country is structured, there will be necessity will be the mother of invention. These governors will become creative, and you see the kind of money that they're going to be realizing.
I agree with you completely, Ali. I'm saying that the idea of restructuring, you keep mentioning restructuring, and I say it's 100%. By the time we restructure and each state understands that, they need to find creative ways to generate their IGR, I think a lot of these states will wake up, and then we will not have this lazy approach of states fighting for money that is not being generated from their state. Because before now, we know where Nigeria is coming from, and we know that the northern states were able to sustain themselves. In fact, we had a lot of trade going on in the north. So we don't understand how all of a sudden now it seems as if there's no activity going on in the north. All these things have been orchestrated by politics and by greedy people. so that it will be this way. But well, that era is past. Going forward, at least we now know Nigerians are awake, and even the youth I can believe that, I want to believe that there are a lot of youth in the north who are like you, who see that there's a need for restructure, and it will definitely happen.
100%. Sorry, please, Mr. Wellard. Mr. Wellard is there. Can you contribute to this discussion? I think he has a wealth of knowledge on this issue.
Abdul, how's it going? I haven't really been paying much attention though. But what's the general cusp of the discussion? May I ask?
Basically, we are talking about Sheikh Gumi utterances, the way he has been defending, moving from pillar to post, defend the atrocities of bandits and terrorists in the northern part of the country.
I see. Oh, yes, I'm aware of that. Well, it's just a reflection of the hypocrisy that we have to deal with. I mean, as I'm not sure what his name is, but the chap that spoke earlier, the northern chap, Ali. Ali, man, you know what? This is the first time I've ever engaged a chap from the north that has actually, sincerely addressed the issues that we are facing, and especially the issues in the north, without, feeling the need to defend, equivocate, sit on the fence, or just, be downright dishonest. The God honest truth is, if, the truth is not told, if you do not address things as they are, Nigeria is going to go downhill. What is the problem? The problem is not one of religion, because you see some Islamic countries that are actually making progress in science, people are educated with good economies and whatnot. No. The problem is this ideology that has crept into the society, as well as cultural conservatism. This, need to stick to a way of life that is way outdated. If a culture does not evolve, that culture will destroy itself. And this is what we are saying. Why is it that we are in this situation? We're in this situation because there are some individuals with vested interests in maintaining the status quo. If the people do not free their minds and free themselves, they will have themselves to blame. Because the truth is, if all of these problems and violence and whatnot keep creeping down south, there are too many Western investments in the south for anyone or any country or any influential company with its fingers in all the pies of government. There are too many of them to allow everything fall apart. In the end, the greatest loser will not be us. Yes, we'll make some losses. Yes, it will be difficult, but the greatest losers will be the North. Change the system, I say. Let the North finally pull its socks up and harness its potential. There's no reason why there should be this level of poverty in Nigeria, first of all, because there's so much that we could earn from. There should be no reason why Nigeria is a poverty capital of the North and of the world. Unfortunately, the yoke that is holding us back is actually the north of Nigeria. If you don't, it's either, it's simple. Evolve or die. Evolve or destroy yourself. Evolve or, we will find ourselves in a situation that, we never fathomed when we were younger. Nigeria is already poor enough. Nigeria is the sixth, largest exporter of crude oil in the world. Yes, it's a very nice statistic, but a very famous some politicians once said that there are lies, damn lies, and then there are statistics. We are the sixth largest producer of crude oil by a huge distance. If you look at the charts and see how much Saudi Arabia, Russia, and some other countries produce, we produce a great deal less. Therefore, if we are here running a bloated government, running one of the most expensive, executive arms of government in the world, if we have millions and millions of people, already that were already on the breadline before this administration came in, if we have 200 million people, how far does this revenue go? It must be augmented by all of the other resources we have, and we must find ways to add value to them. Why should it be that, Ondo State with its bitumen has to go to Abuja to, get the permit to exploit its resources? Why is it that Zamfara is allowed to get away with mining 10 billion naira worth of gold every year, and it goes into certain people's pockets? Think about it. Why is it that the tin mines in the north, tin might not be, the most expensive mineral there is on earth, but what matters is our books at the end of each year. If Jos was allowed to exploit its tin resources, come on, would we be in this state? It's about time everyone got productive. And I think, really, this action, this VAT action, I believe, is one of the best things that, could have happened to Nigeria, to the Nigeria of today. Let there be hunger in the land. Maybe then it will force people to get productive. I mean, it was shocking when, the Gombe governor, came on, he would give an interview saying that there will be hunger in Gombe if, the factories, if they're deprived of their VAT receipts. But what did they do to generate this VAT? Absolutely nothing. So let there be a situation where they have to pull their socks up and pull their fingers out of their asses and get productive. Same thing with some of the states in the south as well. They've gotten lazy as well, some of them. If not, River State and, Lagos, then what? Who else is pulling their weight? It's about time that, everyone, got with reality. Evolve or die, I'd say. Anyway, I'm going to keep quiet now. Cheers.
Can I speak briefly on the, okay. I've been listening to the conversation for quite a while, and I'm very grateful that Ali and Abdul Wasiu have been able to break things down, compartmentalize, and provide a lot of context with respect to the nuances and socio-cultural dynamics of northern Nigeria. So like people better understand it. And yes, I'm well at to, So I mean, I don't think there's, much for me to say, but it helps when we have these very nuanced and unbiased conversations about our socio-economic realities. I'm sure a lot of people have understood a whole lot more about Nigeria. So like you don't fall into the trap of, labeling people and stereotyping without context. You can be able to delineate, that is the power of critical thought when you're trying to analyze the issues when it comes to Nigeria. So I've known these things for quite a while. I had to read, I had to research, I had to listen to podcasts, I had to watch YouTube videos, I had to listen to professors in different parts of universities in northern Nigeria to really, really understand and not just have a sweeping generalization and assumptions about a lot of things. So I mean, like well had said, restructuring in Nigeria is very, very important because it will make people to sit up. And I tell people, see, give me the least productive state give me the state that you think is the least productive in Nigeria. I go manage that state, make money. It's only like without, oil money. Just give me the states, no matter how backward you think it is. That's if you don't really even know about, the dynamics of that state and what it can do. And people can make, things out of it. If you look at the US, I mean, California is the 6th biggest economy in the world, not even in the US, in the world. But you don't have states in the Midwest that are less poor, are not as rich as California complaining. States in the Midwest, they do what they can with what they have. You know, I mean, you have states like, they start amending their public policy to entice, some kinds of businesses there. You have some states that are becoming centers for Bitcoin mining, using natural gas. Everybody leverages on their low-hanging fruits to make the best of their situation. And I think that's what Nigeria needs, because even when we're even talking about restructuring, it's not just the North. There are lots of states in the South, Middle Belt, Southwest, South, safe with the oil that will be hit hard when this thing happens. But they will need to sit up. If you put Rivers and Lagos together, I mean, they account for almost 60% of VAT. So there are a lot of governors that are hiding and they abdicate responsibility, pointing to Abuja. So when we have restructuring, we'll now have people that are serious about governance, that will want to be vying for political. It's no more you just sit down and you, like someone said, your commissioner of what it goes to Abuja to go and collect money. You come back and share money for a dysfunctional civil service that does nothing. You now start, our informal market starts getting formal. People will get serious about the business of governance. So like people that are productive, their total addressable markets can increase. You're not just focusing on just one part of the country. You now have an expanding middle class. And Nigeria is good for it. You now start seeing the competition also leads to collaboration. So maybe a railway or a port in another part of the country will make more sense to people that share borders with, those other states with the coastline, or that are in proximity to those states. And Nigeria will be better for it. We can now start approaching, $1 trillion in GDP and whatever. And some of them are using the governor of Gombe as an example. The same man talking about Wike, should take his brothers in the north into consideration when vying for VAT. Is the same man that a report was released some weeks ago that has borrowed up to 50-something billion naira for the states, doing nothing with the money, doing nothing. And you start asking yourself, how can you borrow such money and you're just mortgaging your state's future and IGR on top of what? You are not in the state most of the time. You are in Abuja. You are in Europe. He's even in some parts of the Caribbean, chilling. They spend so much money on private jet and helicopters. I mean, I have some people in the aviation industry, and they can tell you how much these guys spend on PJs and helicopters. So by the time restructuring will force everybody to start working for the business of governance, and states can work and remit whatever they can to the center. Nigeria will be better for it. And I'll just stop here now, because I think the last three speakers before me have be able to cover a whole lot of ground and giving a whole lot of nuance to the Nigerian socio-economic dynamics, so that we are a whole lot more better informed, and we, speak from a position of knowledge when we're trying to debate these issues. I yield the mic. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, my name is K. Miabie Koronyema, particularly. I think that there is the issues why we will continue to put the responsibility to act on the institutions and policies of government at all the levels in respect to their specific policies that either make for or weaken productivity, like a lot of people have said. I think that the general cause of direction is an inevitable direction. It's the type of thing that religious people will say this is an untoward generation. There is nothing that this generation will do that will not yield the complete collapse of people who are not productive, or otherwise the rise of those who are productive, irrespective of anything that you do. And it is in that context that I view the PFN rhetorics that is on. Whether they arrest Gumi, it will point to one direction. If they refuse to arrest him, it will point to one direction. The fact that there is an inevitable collapse that is happening, and that collapse will begin from the north, because whether Gumi shouts and shouts and shouts and shouts from now till tomorrow and is allowed to go loose as he is, it will only say one thing. The more he continues to shout, the more he continues to create the conditions where people will push back and protect their own spaces and their territories and their economies and their peoples. That will happen down south. And people will become creative, because already their minds are responding in a creative way to whether there are security challenges or whether there are economic challenges or whether there are political challenges. They will continue to grow in that creativity to respond to that. So arresting Gumi will not change it. It will rather reinforce that same tendency, because when Gumi is arrested or prosecuted, that is ever it will be done. And of course, we know that it will never happen because of the type of people that control those institutional apparatuses to respond to that. They will never arrest a Gumi. So the noise will only accentuate the same thing. It will strengthen the position that these people would never arrest Gumi, and it will rather force people to now look for alternative ways to respond to what the federal government is not doing in terms of its own duty. And the state governments over time will find a way, like we are seeing happening down south, and they will respond to it in ways that will protect their people. So the point is that all roads lead to one direction, where action, inaction, omission and commission, whatsoever road will lead to one direction. The inevitable collapse of the unproductive and ideologically bereft constituencies of Nigeria will continue to collapse. And anything they do, rather than change their ideology, anything they do, other than change their orientation, anything they do will lead to the collapse of that systems. And we can mark it. I mean, again, the federal government and the stupidity is that when you think that continuing to buy more arms, send more gunboats, send more helicopters, deploy more military people, create more ROKUs in southeast, south, and southwest, and look for military solutions will solve the problem. It will not solve the problem. The military will go there, they will get more corrupted, and they will find their own survival into that systems. And then the people who are they are depending on salaries of federal government that will continue to find their resources dwindle in the systems, and their institutions get increasingly corrupted, and they get corrupted. And people who are surviving against persecutions will gradually be more creative and more productive and more they will develop geniuses to respond to those challenges, while the corrupt people and the corrupt institutions and the patronage-seeking federal government institutions and agents and agencies will also continue to weaken. So for me, it is very, very clear to me that in the next couple of years, and the worst scenario, you go and elect a type of Buhari or anything close to him that will not begin to look at these issues from the creative and productive lens, and the ability to use market forces to solve solutions. The order is receding. The whole hegemonic order that has governed Nigeria for the past 100 years, beginning from the British systems and all that, is in recession. It will never come alive again. The belief that more action more armed action or more impunity or more lies or more schemings will help them is a lie to them, and they don't realize it yet because they are very shallow. They are looking for the same solutions that have not worked for years. It will collapse. And so some of us are not afraid. The challenges will come. More people will suffer. More people will rise out of the suffering and become stronger. People who are at the margin of mental and emotional and spiritual capacity to survive will collapse. But a generation of people who are courageous, who have a creative spirit, who have faith, who are looking deeper into themselves, will respond to the challenges, and the human spirit in them will rise out of this challenge and grow. So it's a pity for those people who continue to service those ends and think that they are serving a system because they want to eat whatsoever they are, particularly those of them who come to Clubhouse and organize information and think, or anywhere they go to look for information so that they can pose some games of resisting the rise of resistance. You can't break the spirit of a rising generation. This generation will continue to rise. They will have conflicts like we are seeing here, but out of every conflict, they will rise stronger because they are looking for solutions. They're looking for help. They're looking for ways to resolve their problem. Others are looking for patronage to solve their problem. So they will collapse. That's the way nature is organized. And so for me, generally, on a generic note, there are two tendencies: the tendency to be productive and the tendency to be consumptive. If you are at the point, people who are productive will guard their productivity, and those people who are consumptive will have nothing to eat. They will become weaker and weaker. Initially, they will hold institutions, they will hold policy machineries, but you will see that the policy and the institutions will disconnect with the floor, because at the end of it, it is not policy that produces results. It is not holding institutions that produces results. It is not manipulating policies to serve your private interests rather than productive general interests that solve. It is policies that actually address the problems in a productive and creative way that will produce results. And if you do not go that end and you continue to hold institutions and policies, be a president, you become weaker. Buhari has increasingly becoming weak every day. His army is pretending that it is strong. It is growing weak every day. They are becoming corrupt. They are they will continue to grow weak. It is a matter of another two or three election generations, and this policy continues. The Nigerian military will collapse. That's the strongest institution right now. The police has collapsed. Every other institution is collapsing. The Nigerian military will collapse, and they need to be told. Anybody that, particularly our governor who works in the defense, Ministry of Defense, it will collapse. The Nigerian army will collapse. They will weary out. They will corrupt. They will be tired. They will steal. Their officers will steal, run away when they are removed, like Burutai has run away and become quiet and moved away. They will continue to grow weak. At the end of it, they will not have power. You cannot kill 200 million people. It's not possible. You cannot decimate the will of a people who are determined to change their conditions out of themselves. They are not even looking to look for government. They are only saying, government, get out of our back so that we can use our productivity to run, or create policies that will help inspire this productivity to be enhanced so that everybody can benefit from our energies, from our skills, and from our creativity. So those are the things that matters to us. And right now, the only institution that is holding back is the Nigerian army, because they are terrorizing and intimidating people. The National Assembly has gone comatose. It is looking for how to eat and how to serve patronage. It is not serving the people. The presidency is clueless and does not know where it is going. Ministers are doing all sorts of projects that have no bearing to the fundamental needs of the problem of the people. They are operating in environments that do not enhance their capacities. All of these issues are very apparent. It is only a fool that is not thinking hard, and that will still continue to remain foolish in the way they run government, and the system will collapse. So it is in that context that I want to see PNF. Well, that they should continue to ask for Gumi to be arrested, and the federal government should continue to keep blind eyes to it or behave as though it's not happened, or even arrest him. It will not change the scenario. What will change the scenario is fundamental reforms that will create an environment of creativity, productivity, and allow the market to thrive so that people's energies can help them negotiate in the market and get value. I think that's the way to look at these issues, and perhaps this is the generic sense in which all of these issues should be understood. I yield the mic.
Please, sorry, MK, there is something you just said. It's only a fool that did what. Please repeat that again. It's a word on mammals. I want to frame that and keep it somewhere in my house, please.
How can you be framing? You didn't you clip it? There is clipping in your in your international politics. I don't know whether I can recreate that word. I mean, I'm not the.
It was.
But the idea is that the Nigerian security services are not thinking. They do not. They are, instead of them to urge the political institution to resolve issues that are clearly political issues, they are yielding to using the instruments of terror and violence and state power to hit at everything, and that continuous thinking that will keep Nigeria back, will hold Nigeria back, is the highest level of foolishness and lack of understanding of military, the role of the military in the mix of things. There are issues that the politics will handle, and there can be no military solution to creativity. There is no military solutions to productivity. There is no military solutions to enterprise. There is no military solutions. It is foolishness of the Nigerian military and army and police, this thing, to continue to think that you will be deploying helicopters, you will be deploying guns, you will be deploying gunboats, you will be deploying armor tankers, you will be quelling everything, and that will yield to productivity and terrorize people. You terrorize people to the point that they will rise, they will wake up, they will overcome their fears, or even though they don't overcome their fears, they will get to the point where they are so frustrated that they will give their lives to change their cause. They will kill, if you want to kill them, they will try to kill 3 or 4 persons before they go down. That is the human spirit. It will fight. And the military does not have capacity to resist those type of people when they come on board. But to say that you will continue to use military to suppress people because you control the instrument of cohesion, it will end. It will come to its full end. Even the military itself will be tired of blood. You come to a point where you get to depression. You as a military person, you go every day, you are there, you are showing violence to people, you are trying to suppress them. You will come to a point where you will be tired, you will be depressed because you are working against nature, you are working against productivity. So the greatest force that is holding Nigeria now is Buhari's mentality that military will solve every problem, and the military not challenging him and say this is a political solution. Address it politically. We can't continue to allow this degrade the military because the military is eroding. The police has completely gone. The police has gone. The military, whether it is Navy, Army, is degrading. And people are building capacity to respond to them gradually. They will continue to use money. And there will be no time. No money will not even be available for you to do all of these issues. So that's the point I want to raise. It is utter foolishness for the military not to rise to the reality that if they don't check this mentality of Buhari and his hegemonic view, they will get to the point where they themselves will become victims of the challenges that they are doing. And I pray that Buhari continues to do this. And that he continues to believe that he can suppress Nigerians in the way that he is suppressing them, and perhaps even go to the extent of pushing to take over the space with military power because maybe he knows that he will lose elections or his party will lose elections, which is already in disarray, will lose elections and so on and so forth. And the fact that people will resist them as it's going to emerge. I mean, that's the way I see things, and we shall see how it plays out, whether it is their own beliefs that will work in the next another 2 rounds of election of this thing. I don't think that Nigeria, if it continues in this policy, will survive the next 2 rounds of election of 8 years after Buhari. If this policy and this hegemonic class continues, it will collapse clearly. That's the point I'm raising.
Thank you so much.
Very well summarized. Very, very well summarized. I think, like you said, I think we are actually in the Rubicon because the Nigerian business model that has existed, which is like being a petrol poor state, has expired a long time ago. We just have political actors that have refused to come to terms with our realities. That's why you see some dim-witted people have started borrowing and borrowing. They're trying to borrow us out of public policy dysfunction. You have to take structural reforms to increase revenue. Because what we find is you find government has been pumping money in some certain sectors that have seen, but they're experiencing a lot of diminishing returns. You're pumping more money, but you're not experiencing arithmetic or geometric progression. So the business model has expired, and we're just having political actors that are resilient in trying to kick the can down the road. So just like you said, Mr. MK, beautifully encapsulated, you just said everything that, has been on the minds of, lots of people that care about the welfare and progress of this country. And I think, like I earlier iterated, this, has been one of the most informative clubhouse sessions on the issues, Gumi is beyond all these people like Gumi and everything that. How many people do they even really speak for? So it's beyond him. The conversation around socio-cultural dynamics and socio-economics of Nigeria, they transcend the things that he has been saying, and the heating up of the polity with some certain declarations he has been making. If anything, I think, and in some ways, I sort of, thank God that, it's a bittersweet pill, a lot of people have died, but if Buhari didn't win the elections, he may have been the messiah that never came to fruition. So, he has played his hand, and we have seen how far back, it has carried us. Nigeria's GDP has actually contracted. There are a lot of, we all know Nigeria. We feel it, we hear it, we see it. So it's not like, something out of the sky that people are using data to try to convince you. The ordinary man on the street feels the pulse of Nigeria's regression in recent times. So, well, let's see. We've passed the Rubicon, and let's just hope for all intents and purposes that, there's light at the end of this tunnel that so much blood has been shed for. And, I think Sheikh Husani was talking about, I think, a former member of the House, a former senator is still with kidnappers. A former senator, can you imagine that? He has been with kidnappers for the past 2 months or something like that. So it's actually touching everybody. It touch everybody, like some people say in cliche. So let's see if some people decide to wake up, but I don't even think it depends on them, because Nigeria has to evolve as it is right now, because it can't continue like this. Thanks for this discussion. Appreciate it. I yield the mic.
Thanks a lot, bro.
Chime in.
Thank you. Who's next?